Yeah, hello and welcome to Riga Power BI meetup. We are starting shortly. Okay, I think we are good to start. So this meetup will be dedicated to idea of how build how to build a good business report and how to think about uh, building reports. Of course, we see tons of materials how to build different kind of reports, but let's think how we could build a report that brings some value to the business. And as I put it in the subject or the title of this meetup, you could see that it is um, intro for beginners. So it will be not so much intro for beginners as Power BI. I don't mean that it is so much for Power BI beginners, but also, of course, if you are just beginner in Power BI, it should be valuable for you. But mainly, it's for those who are building reports, maybe. It's additional role at your job to build some reports, business reports. So should be valuable for you. And let's start with. It will not be long, so we will start with a couple of explanations and ideas and concepts, and then I will show you a short demo. And as always, let's make this meetup as a discussion. If you have any questions or want to say or make a comment, please unmute yourself and speak. Or you could also write in the chat. So I will follow time to time and look what there. Okay, let's start. And when I prepared this presentation, I think it really about things like what makes a report good for business. So usually there is some goal or some purpose because some purpose why we are creating some report. And there are some general rules that we need to take into account all the time when we are thinking about the um, uh, not just design but also the content of the report. And we will start with a couple of things of how we make these reports from the design point of view. Of course, you could find a lot of materials about how create right visuals, how to choose right visuals, and things like that. But I will skip this part today, and we'll talk about the reasons or uh, different type of factors that influence business report. So if we're starting, we could start with some words from Alberto Cairo. And Alberto Cairo is one of the leading experts in data visualization currently. He's a data journalist. And first, when we start working with visualization of data or building reports in this case, we're talking how to build reports, how to build a valuable reports for your business. And thinking about it, we need to understand data a lot. And I would say that if previously we think it about skills or capabilities like data science or something like that, then more and more I see that some basic data literacy skills are even more important than some fancy data science or machine learning understanding or even data visualization principle understanding. So what is data literacy? And he described it very well as a skill of how to read, work with, analyze, and arguing with data. And what was most important in his words, and that I will take it for our I will take it for our today's discussion about good how to create a good business report. It's this arguing with data. So we need to create some data story, and of course, it's not a very fresh idea. We are creating data stories all the time, and uh, we think or we're thinking we are creating data stories, and uh, and uh, that is approach and way how we what we use to create actually reports. But this story or arguing with data should be built based on some business knowledge. What 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 we what is related to this report. But we will come to it. Another thing is I showed this slide a couple of times already, and it's really a must-read book for anyone who wants to create a good business report. It's how to measure anything. There are many editions already, and uh, the concept which Hubbard is presenting in the book is this this way how we are looking at the data. Sometimes when we're working, especially in Power BI or self-service self-service visualization tools and data analysis tools, we are using the data sets, and we are probably not so much analyzing these data sets and trying to understand data behind. We start visualize immediately. It's it's easy to do, and basically that is also a way how we create most of the reports. But if we look at the data, what we need to make where we need to make attention, we need to understand what actually we are looking at, what kind of data it is, what are the measure, how it's measured, how what this measurement means. Like if it's profit or sales data, then we need to understand that it is recorded sales or it's um, some accumulated sales. So it's all these things are very important, and it's also cornerstone of building great business report, because no one except you will do this analysis. Only you as a data analyst, you do this data analysis. This kind on this level, understanding what we are measuring, how often we are measuring, how this data is captured. Is this data coming from transactional system, or maybe this data is coming from some uh, Excel file or whatever. So we need to know where the data come from and how it's uh, captured or how it's measured, and what business measure it represents. And again, if we're coming back to Alberto Cairo and not going um, so deep in data visualization principles, he in his video, let me see if I have, yeah, I have link to it, so I could I could share it with you. Let me check first. It's right. So this is a must-see video for everyone. Yeah, so I'm sharing it in chat. And he's talking about 4 these common misconceptions, and you see that it's not very intuitive to understand that why these are misconceptions, because it really looks like right choice, the right way how to do things, or how we did, or how, at least myself, myself, I several times use it, some of these as a best practice. And the first, we know saying a picture is worth 1,000 words. It means that let's better have one picture than 1,000 words. And Alberto Cairo says, no, it's not true. It's true only in case you know how to read it. Otherwise, you see just picture, you could easily uh, misunderstood it, misinterpret it. So you need some additional, usually if you use some picture for explaining something, you need to add additional text that explains it. So the text and the pictures must go to hand in hand. And I would say that is one of the rules, not very intuitive, that comes together with the idea of building good uh, good business report. So I would say that the good business report should contain pretty much text, and the text is explaining actually what we are seeing, or guiding user who is using this report. I will show you how it should look like. The second one, visualization is intuitive. It's like statement that visualization is intuitive. That's and again he's saying not really. So it could be misleading and not very intuitive. And again, you need to understand the context of this visualization and also some additional explanation in text as a narrative. Third one, the data should speak for itself. So it means that speak for itself. Somehow you are looking at it and you understand everything. So it's self-evident, and it's maybe the biggest error building or biggest mistake building business reports, that you are creating everything and it makes sense for you, and you say, okay, it makes sense. So please, everyone, you know, this is you in your report, make decisions, avoid risks, etc. And again, it's not true. Data shouldn't speak for itself. So you, as an analyst, should create this narrative and the way and structure this data in a way that data is helping to understand something. Usually, it should represent some knowledge, and we will discuss it a little bit later. And fourth, the last one, the show don't tell, very, very popular saying. And again, he's saying not true. Don't do it. Tell more than tell and show together. So very inspirational video. So spend hour on this video. So it's definitely something that you need to look once in 5 years. So in the last 3-4 years, it's one of the best videos about data visualization that I seen. So we recommend to watch this video, and you will get, of course, more context and details and examples when he's describing why why these are common misconceptions. But if we're moving forward, and this is another picture I showed many times already, and when we are building a business report, we need to understand the purpose of business report. And purpose of business report is we are building this business reports because we want to explain something in our organization. We want to explain some process, maybe. We want to explain or give more understanding of some combination, for example, between goals and processes, or goals and organizational structure, and in different ways. So we are not building business reports just for fun. We are not building business reports because it's possible to build report just for fun. I built several times reports just for fun. It's when you are creating nice demo, or, for example, you are explaining some phenomena, and it's just for fun. It's interesting. You can see a lot of reports shared on Facebook and LinkedIn that initially created for fun. But when we're creating business report, there is some specific purpose. And in the next slide, I have actually 4 levels of reports that we could create. And probably this is one of most important slides you will see today. And you can see there are 4 levels, and it's going like from first level to 4th level. So first level is the worst one, and the 4th level is the best one. So, and as you see, usually business report explains business process. And as we know, business process includes goals, because we are providing some goals. We are trying to achieve some goals using business process. We have people inside, which means we have organizational structure behind this business process, and depends on how broadly we are looking at the business process. There could be some narrower story or scope of the business process, or there could be an end-to-end business process. And in this case, if we look at level 1, this is, I would say, this is 99.95% of all reports I ever seen are in level 1. It's lowest level by our categorization. It means that we have business process and the data behind. Imagine there is a sales, there could be marketing, a warehouse, logistics, and many other type of data. And of course, there is always some business process. This data don't exist in vacuum. And we say, oh, we need to create some report that explains this business process. And what to do, we just take the data that are related to this, usually from some ERP system or system where it's registered, and then we create a report with everything nice and beautiful visualizations. But actually, we are not creating specific link. Like, we are not saying that when you are in this step, then look at this data. And I call it find yourself. So the mapping, there is no actually mapping between your business process and report created. And for users, it means that they need to open report and then click and browse data, do slicing, dicing, and find themselves some relationship between what they're doing in the business process and what's done in report, which is not it's not the worst thing. It's not super bad. Sometimes it's even works, but it's definitely not a good or effective report. So we need to think to enhance it, to make it better. Yeah, we definitely need to find some way how to link some parts of the business process specifically to some metrics we are using in report. So actually we are do some mapping between business process and what's done in business process. and the knowledge, usually it relates to the knowledge which is used to run this business process. For example, if the price is in this level, it means the best price. Yeah. Oh yeah, in chat there is a recommendation. Find it yourself. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it might. Maybe it's a better title. Yeah. Thank you. Find it. Find it yourself. And yeah. So you need to actually add the knowledge, and then when you will show this report, when you build this report, it gives some instruction. So it means that I'm not just opening this report and trying to find something myself, but I'm see already some knowledge uh, that is explicitly presented. So it means that I could follow some rules or some process in this report. So it gives me a better connection or better mapping between business process and report. The next level is even closer mapping and better mapping. So we see that we are looking at some cases when we are on a certain step in the business process, and then we are doing some what if analysis. We're saying if you are here and if you are working with a large client, and if you are doing this, then look at this. So use this visualization, or look at this numbers, or some range of numbers. So we are making it even closer. And the last level here is a proactive analytics. It means that we are linking business process in a way that by looking at the report, I could even predict that something will happen in business process. So usually I know where I'm business process. I'm looking to report to get more context or information, and it's mapping, yeah. And this report, BI report, is serving business process. But with proactive analytics, the business actually report is showing that please make attention to this client because probably there will be some claim, or please offer. There is opportunity to offer client some goods for selling some goods. So report, we could start with report and go to the business process back. So this is very essential. And as I mentioned, there is by building report, usually this is a way how we how to transform the, the if we want to build at least level 2 report. It's a way how to transform tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. What it means, the best example of this tacit into explicit is that we know something. We are doing something, but how to do it, we know, just we have this information in our mind. And if we write it down, yeah, so or make as a document, or maybe we put as requirements, and the system is built by this requirement. So we transfer this knowledge from tacit, which means in our mind, in our head, to explicit, which means could be used by others. And there is a famous book, uh, The Knowledge Creating Company, where this concept introduced and very well described. So I encourage you to read this book. It's super cool, really eye-opening book of how knowledge management should work, and especially this transfers, different kind of transformations. As you see, there could be tacit, explicit, explicit, and explicit tacit. And the nice example, but which Nonaka makes is that imagine your grandmother is cooking very nice pancakes, very tasty pancakes, and you want a recipe, and you ask your grandma for recipe. She's like telling you this, telling the recipe step by step. You are carefully writing it down, all the steps, all the nuances, and then you're going home and trying to reproduce tasty pancakes. And oops, what usually happens? Not not really like perfect result. Yeah, yeah. Not really these pancakes don't taste really as those who are who those made by grandma. And why? What's the reason? Do you think grandma really uh, uh, didn't want to tell you all the truth and forget it to tell something, or what's happening? And no, how Nonaka explains it, because it happens all around, like in business, the same stuff. You are going to colleague and ask about how she's doing business, and that you probably could learn from it, and um, you don't get the full information. And it's because there is some steps and some things we don't acknowledge at all. So we don't make attention to it. We don't think it's influence the result. So therefore, to get this pancake recipe, you need to go back to your grandma and ask her to cook with them, and then you are carefully watching what she's doing, and making some notes and making some additional uh, steps, or adding some additional information to your recipe. So it means that when we are building business report, very often we will need to get this tacit knowledge. For example, you need to talk with your sales guys, or logistics guys, or who needs this report, by understanding what they're doing in the business process. And then by looking and writing down what they're doing, you need this knowledge, this tacit knowledge, convert into explicit knowledge, which means create some and maybe use or create some documentation, and use this knowledge and show this knowledge in your report. So I probably I will be able to demonstrate how to do that. And of course, it requires another skill to do this exercise. It's not just ask, okay, tell me what needs to be in your report, and I will create this. No, it requires some business analysis skills. And here I recommend this Babok. You could find it on the internet. It's business analysis book of knowledge, and this book includes very good and structured description about business analysis practice, and of course many techniques and templates available there. So we need this to develop business knowledge, and that will help us to really create this um, very well built business report, which is where the business process is linked with a business process, with a report, and therefore with decision. I would say that if we look at the process, yeah, here, and of course in different process steps, different people are usually involved. So actually the business process and reporting which is used in this business process must be very close. I actually don't like the idea that there is a BI portal where all these reports are collected. So it's definitely not together with a business process, because business we are doing this business process definitely in some other system. So reporting must be as close as possible to the business system, to the business process, or where the environment where we are doing this. And we also explicitly need to understand in which, when we are in the stage, for example, if you look at this business process with 4 steps. So if you are in the step number 3 and looking for some analytics, so we need very precisely understand and immediately understand that actually the report we are looking at or data we are looking at is related to this step we are in. So it should be linked together. Okay, and let's look at some sample. So we as a let's say beginners, really how to practically build this good report. And imagine we are data analysts at real estate company. So our colleagues are selling real estate in Riga, and they're helping clients find needed real estate, and we are helping to buy it, to sell it. And you're talking with the sales guys, and the sales guys are saying, "Oh, there's a other companies are using analytics, so why we are not using analytics? Let's build some report." And when you will ask what should be in this report, without deep analysis, everyone will say that let's build some overview, some descriptive report, where it's easy to understand data by well-selected visualizations. So it will describe all the data available, and we will take care. So we'll understand. Okay, and you start doing this. And for example, here, I already did some report just to save time. And if we look at the data, here's the data about real estate in Riga. So what we see the country, city, district, district, very important, address, number of rooms. So if you look from 1 to 6, area, it's area of the flat. No, it's rooms. Area here, area. Starting 12 square meters and to 390 square meters. Floor. We could see that in Riga, you could even get a flat 26th floor. Yeah, who wants to live there? Series means the type of flat, like renovated or special project or a new project, and some series, like it comes from the Soviet time. Then the price or total price and price per meter, latitude, longitude, location of the flat, and yep, and price per square meter, price per square meter. So that's it. That's our data. And if we start visualizing it, of course, we will create something like this. And we always create, and imagine that it could be any type of data, finance, sales, logistics, marketing. When we are creating overall things, we are thinking that let's show that some main figures, like number of objects we have, number of objects, for example, some count of some of the category values. For example, in this case, maximum price per square meter, like just for interesting thing. Then filters, some filters that you could select almost everything, and it's done by the idea that you could select what you want and find it. Of course, we have a map when we were talking about these objects. Here, for example, price per meter, depending on district, like we see that in Centrum, yeah, and we see that it's a little bit wrong. Now it's correct. So we see the square meter price. So we get even add the nice visualization with this zoom in filter, and then make some area chart, scatter chart with a showing correlation between area and price. So understanding that yeah, we could see that there are if there is a certain area, what is the price of it? Okay, and the last one probably we could put here a table with more details, like there's an address in this table, address, floor, district, rooms, series, price per square meter, and etc. for sorting, or maybe we could add some additional form and thing. So we could see that in very short time, actually, we could price per square meter average, and we see that we could quite fastly build this report, and it's almost usually we are done do this, and when we show and it includes all the needed information. Actually, it's how we looked at it, and if we're saying if you want something, just please select, for example, fifth floor, or you say I want 26th floor. See, yeah, you could select it. It's here. You could locate it in the map, zoom in. So that is where this 26 26th floor flat is available. Yeah, and that is report that works. But it's typically, as we see, it's a report of this first level, that find it yourself. Yeah, and starting thinking what could be this good, how the good business how we could make a good business report out of this. And actually, what we need to do, we need to go back to these real estate agents and ask them how they make a decision, or not decision, but how they select what is the reasoning they are using, or the questions they are asking their clients before they get some they show them some options or talk about options. And it will be a little bit unusual for them, but when you start talking with them, they will probably say that, okay, I do it in 4 steps. First, when client come or call me, I'm asking actually the price range, because there are low price segment, medium, and very high, and it's very important that you filter them out early. So you start with a price range. You ask about price that clients are thinking about, and it's total price. So they definitely know, they have something in mind, the maximum amount they could spend, they could afford. And when you have this information, you actually ask about preferred series. Yeah, or maybe in our case we could change it and with district, for example. But it could be series. Yeah, and you could ask for example district. The sales manager saying to you, so it's a centrum, it's some other district of Riga. So place is very important, and they are giving your preferences, maybe a couple of them. That's also okay. And then you ask about series, which is usually not everything, but it's new or it should be old, and etc. And actually the last one is area. Yeah, so how many square meters, how many square meters you are looking for? So how big this flat should be? So then you could come to this average price per square meter. So, and now you get the idea, you get the process, actually, the process and what you need to create in good business report. Actually, you need to build this logic in your business report and create this as report instruction. So it should be report wizard or report instruction that every sales manager are opening this report, and you are saying, first ask about price. Okay. Then you ask it and select it in your report. The next is select district. So you again selected, yeah, and then you have a list of options, and you could start your discussions. And as we discussed previously, so we just need to not to add these visualizations, but also add narrative, so instructions. By that, you will create a report that actually makes even starting or new sales manager very successful. And let's just build look how it could look like select price range, and I'm putting for example shape and saying that here I have 4 steps. I will put them like this, 4 steps, and 5th step for the list. So let's make it a little bit. So we'll not spend so much time for formatting. So I think you will get the point. Yeah, like this, and this will be first. I'm entering text here, select price range. Select price range. Okay. And in this price range, what I putting there in, I putting another thing. It will be a text block, and I will create instruction. Please ask client about preferable price range they can afford, something like that. So there should be an explanation and of course more text. And what we include with what we are selecting here, so we are just looking at the price, putting price here as a slicer. So this is the first step. Just select the right the price tag. Okay, let's go to the next step. select district. And we are saying text. Second, select district. Okay, and again we're putting the text. I will, for saving time, I will keep the same, but you understand that we need to describe what it should be, and we are choosing district. Now there could be many options. It could be like a map, or it could be like a list. I will keep it as a list, and you see, because we don't need to really spend a lot of attention of what else should be in this report. We could keep it very wide, in full height, for example. Next, select series. Text again. Select series. And again, we are putting series here, and as a slicer, because we could create several, of course. For the series, most probably we need to create a groups. Yeah, that we could say that let's grouping them by new, not having all, but that's okay for the demo. And saving time, we could just mention it, but not do. But from the series, we could create. We need to create several. We could be able to select several values and select area in square meters. And select area in square meters. And in this case, we are taking area as a slicer, copying text. So we are ready. So we created what was asked, but the last step, this one, out filters. So this is step created by us. Filtered or select possible options for client. We're saying we are adding additional step, and we are saying that let's have possible options. So of course we need some table, and here's not enough place to put this table in, so I would rearrange this a little bit, and probably take this down here, put it in that way, and maybe I could draw the arrow here to showing how to follow to this, and here then I will put a table. Two things. One will be table that will show options, and the second thing will be map. That we immediately see the selected objects in map. And as a size, we could put this price tag. Okay. So we have a map. Something is selected. Oh, now it's good. And build build this table, and we need address, floor, price, exact price, price per square meter, number of rooms. Maybe we could add also series here. District, we will see the district filtered, but we could add the district here. So, and let's now we are going, the report is ready, and now we are giving this report to any of sales guys. Of course, we probably will create some additional explanations, but actually when they are opening this report, they see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I need to start with 1. Select when the client is calling you or coming to you, select price range, and there is described how to do that. And client is saying, oh, I'm looking something between 70,000. We could write it here, 70,000 and 140,000. That is my price range. Okay, yeah, and you could say we have totally 3,700 objects that corresponds to this criteria. Very well. What about district? What do you think? And there could be some more detailed instructions, like telling maybe the story about districts that we think that there is some preferences from our company, or some suggestions, recommendations where we recommend to look at. And for example, they said, oh, I'm looking definitely at agents counts. Yeah, and there we say, okay, we come to 112 options here. What about series? What you think it should be a new or renovated or special? Oh, client saying, oh, it could be anything. So there's not something very specific. And what about the square meters? There's some things there, and yeah, you say that it should be more than 80 square meters, definitely. That is your thing, and you come to total 112 is the sum of the floors. The question in floor. Yeah, this is a sum of floor. So we need to change totals. Probably we need to add totals here just to indicate objects like this. 11. After all this selection, we have 11 objects. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's then put ID here to be very strict. 13. So then probably we have another, or maybe a couple of objects here. Yeah, and so we say that we have 13 objects. So 13 objects. Here is a list. And actually, we could start and save by price, and say start or printing out this, or sending this, or talking number of rooms, and excluding some of the objects, and etc. And build this process even further. So you could see the difference between these two reports is actually that in this report, you take some knowledge of the process and put it in this report. So not you just put here, this is actually as a small system, as a small CRM, that where you have different steps for how to decide about things, and how to work actually. And if you capture the best practice here, you can yeah, you can help your organization a lot. Yeah, that's all that I wanted to show so far. Any questions, comments? Was it useful for you? How we can get a record of this useful meetup? So I will put this recording when it will be generated, and will send by email to meetup group. Or if you don't find it, please write in chat question, and I will post it in the chat. Okay, looks that you enjoyed it. Yeah, remember that uh, uh, you need to really capture knowledge and value, and that makes um, good business report, not the visualizations as you see in this report. This is less visually appealing than this one, where this one doesn't make any sense actually, and this one helps us uh, to build a process itself and looks like a system. In, yeah. Happy that you enjoy my book recommendations. This one, it will change your life if you didn't read it. This is a little bit harder to read, but very nice, because on some pages it's a little bit technical. Okay, thanks for coming. And we next Wednesday, I think we have closing meetup for this year. And yeah, if we are not meeting next week, so happy new year, and see you on meetups already next year. Thanks, have a nice evening, bye bye.